All right, I have no idea what position the camera's in, so we'll try this. A while back, I filmed a video. I can't feel RDLs in my glutes, I only feel in my low back. And that was a pretty popular video on YouTube. We used a band, getting people in a stack, and having the band help pull them back into their hips. Some people are so glued up in their glutes and can't control their pelvis, or too stiff, or some people are so mobile they'll get bendy and do everything but get into their hip. They just can't shift into their hip. And I think a big mistake a lot of people make is, if you realize that every person you train is like an experiment, and some people are going to catch on to things really, really well, and it's your job as a coach to give them the exercise they need to get you, for you to get them in the position you want them to be in. And as you get more experience, you're going to get better at picking the right variations of exercises. Now, if I have somebody that can't shift to their hip, one of the things that I'm going to do is like a walk up to the side. Like, since the beginning of my career, even when I was hardcore into powerlifting, I knew that doing like a walk up with your hands improved squats and deadlifts. It just did. Now I understand more of why, what it does to the pelvis, and the rib cage. Okay, so I'll have somebody set up in a walk up, and I'll actually have them walk up to the side so they can actually shift into the glute and the hip. You can feel it, and then come back down and then walk up. This side's gonna suck for me, but actually you're shifting into the hip, because that's what happens when you're having a hard time getting people to shift into their hips. So the other thing we can do is elevate the toe and use the wall. And you can load this, but a lot of times I'll just do this as a drill. And sometimes when you have people that can't do an RDL with 2 legs, it's easier to get them to do it on one. I use the floor, or I'll use the wall. I got that from like Pat Davidson, to act as stabilizer so they can actually get into the hip. Because a lot of people, they do single leg RDL, they'll friggin' airplane all over the place. So we're here, get on the wall. I like to put the hand over the big toe. And then it's almost just you're shifting, and it's very tiny. Like, that's all I've got right there. I'm in my hip. If I go further than that, I'm gonna start using my low back. That's all I need is right there, and I'm gonna come back up. I'm not gonna extend through the back. I have a really weird body, so mine's gonna look a lot different. You can even put your toe on the ground if you want. Some people will do better with on the wall. And it's just a shift into the hip, and then out of the hip. It's a shift into the hip. You're actually rotating a little bit into the hip. Your hand stays over the big toe the entire time. That keeps you from arching, okay? And you're shifting into the hip, and then you're shifting out of the hip. You incorporate it in your warm-up. You can add it into your programming. It all depends on what you're trying to do. But if you still can't, if you're controlling your canister and you still can't feel RDLs in your glutes, you're feeling them in your low back, there's another thing you can try.